This is huge. Arsenal will be taking on Manchester City in the Etihad Stadium this Sunday, and this is by far the biggest game of our season. While this and the Man City game at home in 2025, these are the biggest games of the season if we want to win the Premier League and beat Manchester City to the title. Yes, Liverpool didn't beat Manchester City in the Etihad Stadium the season that they won the Premier League, but if we want to make a claim, if we want to make a statement and win the Premier League, it'll be a lot easier if we can be able to go to the Etihad Stadium and get ourselves 3 points, and it's gonna be extremely difficult. We aren't in the greatest of forms. We've only scored 2 goals in the last 3 games, and in the Premier League at least, Manchester City on absolute fire, so we need to make sure that we can get all 3 points, or at least get something from this game. We can take a draw, I will take that kind of, but I'd much rather take all 3 points, get ourselves back ahead of Manchester City, and then it can be in our hands for the rest of the season, hopefully. So in today's video, we'll be previewing the game, talking about the potential starting 11 and how I think the game will go. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. In our last 5 games, we've had that good 2-0 win against Wolves, the good 2-0 win against Aston Villa. We then had that 1-1 draw against Brighton, and most recently after the international break, we've had a 1-0 win against Spurs and a 0-0 draw against Atalanta. I said in that Atalanta video that we didn't deserve all 3 points against Atalanta. We didn't provide anything offensively. That Martinelli chance was offside anyway, and the only reason we even got a point was because of David Raya. It was a really poor performance, and this is what happens when you haven't got Martin Odegaard. There's no creativity, there's no fluidness in our attack, and I understand that he's a huge part of our team and that he is the reason that we can't be so creative and so fluid attacking wise, but against Manchester City, we cannot afford to play the same way we did against Atalanta or even Tottenham Hotspur. Let's be honest, yes, we got a 1-0 win against Spurs, a huge result, a clean sheet away from home against Tottenham Hotspur, but we didn't create enough chances, particularly how high Tottenham play and how bad their defense is. We didn't create enough chances, and we weren't good enough against Spurs, even though we did get a 1-0 win, and I was kind of happy with the performance. Offensively, we were not good enough against Atalanta. Offensively, we were not good enough. Yes, there's no Odegaard, I know it. He's our captain, a huge part of how we play, but we have to come up with another solution, especially against Man City. Man City are not a team to play with. In their last 5 games, they have a 2-0 win against Chelsea, a 4-1 win against Ipswich, a 3-1 win against West Ham, a 2-1 win against Brentford, and most recently a 0-0 draw against Inter, where Inter defensively just showed a masterclass. Man City, of course, are on absolute fire. Erling Haaland on fire, of course, but in Man City's last 3 Premier League games, they have conceded 3 Premier League goals. So their defense, although they are still Man City and they're still very good, there is a weakness in their defense, at least somewhat, whereas in our last 5 games, we've only conceded 1 goal. Look, at the end of the day, form kind of goes out the window in these types of games. It's a huge top of the table clash, first versus second, and boy, do we need these 3 points. If we can get these 3 points, we can go 1 point clear of Manchester City, and like I said, after that, then the rest will be in our hands. We need to go all out, play our best players. This is such an important game. Now onto injuries and suspensions. We'll start off with Manchester City. Of course, Oscar Bob will be out until January with a broken leg. There's no Nathan Ake, and right now, although a lot of people are saying De Bruyne won't be available, there are other reports saying that he most likely will be available. So Kevin De Bruyne most likely will be playing against Arsenal, and I think it's kind of a big blow for us because I think a Man City without Kevin De Bruyne is very similar to Arsenal without Odegaard, a lot less fluid offensively, although they do have a lot more to rely on with the likes of Bernardo Silva and so on. So Manchester City, as deep as they are, they haven't really got any injuries really to deal with outside of Ake, Bob, and potentially De Bruyne, although I do expect to see De Bruyne play against us. And while us, on the other hand, we still have a lot of injuries to deal with. Zinchenko won't be playing, Tierney will be out, Odegaard will obviously be out, Mikel Merino will be out, and Tomiyasu will still be out most likely. We still have to deal with so many injuries despite playing so many games in such a short time span, and our squad against Atalanta anyway looking very tired. We still have to deal with a fair chunk of injuries, so heading into the Etihad Stadium, that is less than ideal, but it is what it is. This happens. We have built a squad, hopefully, that can deal with these types of injuries, and well, we'll see if we can against Man City. So this is a starting 11 that I would play for the game. Goalkeeper, of course, David Raya. Left back, I'm still going Jurrien Timber. I think Jurrien Timber should be the starting left back. He never got a full 90 against Atalanta, so I think left back you have to go Jurrien Timber. Right back you have to go Ben White. The centre backs you have to go Gabriel and Saliba. No surprises in the back 5. You go for your strongest back 5. Now into midfield, Thomas Partey was horrible against Atalanta, but I do kind of hope he'll bounce back this time. So I'm going to go Thomas Partey and CDM. I wouldn't mind Jorginho over Thomas Partey though, so I wouldn't be upset there. Then you have to go obviously Declan Rice, and next to Declan Rice, I would go Kai Havertz still. Yes, Kai Havertz is not nearly as effective as a central attacking midfielder as he is when he plays striker, but I do have an idea for that. So my left wing would still be Gabriel Martinelli. Yes, he's been in horrible form, 17 games, 0 goals, 0 assists for Arsenal. Yes, he's been in horrible form, I get that. But I think Martinelli just has to be used in a game like this because we're undoubtedly going to be put under pressure by Man City, and Martinelli does happily track back and work back defensively, and he is a player you can give the ball to, that he could dribble up and relieve some tension on us. So I think for this game specifically, I would still go Gabriel Martinelli at the left wing. The right wing, obviously, Bukayo Saka. And at striker, I'm going to go Leandro Trossard. Jesus, like Thomas Partey, struggled against Atalanta. And I think one thing I said in the video about the Atalanta game was that I love the interchange between Trossard and Havertz. And that's why I said I'd have Havertz in attacking midfield with Trossard as a striker, or I'd even have Havertz as a striker, Trossard as attacking midfield. I love their interchange a lot more than I like the Jesus and Havertz interchange. And I think this would be really effective against Manchester City. And hopefully Trossard gets a moment like he did last season, but this time he can actually take his chance. So yeah guys, that's the video. Let me know in the comments below, what starting 11 would you play? How do you guys think the game will go? And do you think Arsenal can nick 3 points? Let me know in the comments below. Please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.